all podcaster friends out there. Welcome to our podcast for another session. This is Random Chats with Dade. I'm Dade and Jude.
I'm Jude.
And
I always sing, don't I? I always have a little kind of vocal thing happening here.
I love it. I love it. One day we'll get you doing like opera or something like that. Like, I'm Jude. Yeah, I won't sing.
I might just do that.
I won't sing. I won't do any of that though. What are we talking about today, Jude?
Today we're going to talk about being creative.
Okay. So, and I say, what are we talking about, Jude? I know what we're talking about because I've actually got some definitions about what being creative is.
What you're doing is you're introducing the subject matter, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad we did, because I want us to start off by saying, before you get into the definition, I think those people that are creatives, and I'm married to one actually, but people that are creative, I'm just in awe of, because being creative is not something that is natural to me in a sense of having like the artistic side or the singer side or that kind of creativity, or like just thinking of creative ideas, and that just doesn't come naturally to me. So this is a really interesting one because I think we can get really into the meatiness of it all. So
well, it's interesting because one of the definitions is the informal, a person who is creative, typically in a professional context. So yeah, that when you talk about that from a, like, we know musicians, we know some DJs, but we know some artists, and we know those kind of, and they do it for a living, and it's like, God, how like the work you create is amazing. But that's being a creative in that sense. But we're talking about us being creative, right?
Yeah. And like, I mean, as far as a stick man goes, or as far as thinking on her feet, you know, like, you know, being a mum, I thought I so many times have presented with having to kind of, you know, create things out of nothing. And I just have a craft box, and it's a lovely craft box. And inside the craft box has got some wonderful crafty things, but I can't really do much with it. My children are better at it than I am, actually.
But I will give you credit. Like, I've seen you be creative in creating, like, baking cakes and like icing them and things like that. You're creative in that sense.
Yes, that's also challenging.
I'm sure.
Challenging. Some of the things my children have asked me to make, I'm like, oh, okay.
Childhood dreams, challenge of a cake.
Right. Reality. It's been made.
I just had that random thing, a podcast we must do over people's like efforts at decorating cakes. We show a picture and we just react to it.
Yeah. It's like that Netflix show Nailed It, where they get to make a cake. You see it, and then there's this thing that kind of resembles a cake.
Yeah.
Would
you like to eat it? No. All right, let's go back to the definitions. So I've got two, apart from the being a creative. Having or showing an ability to make new things or think of new ideas. Interesting from the ideas part. I suppose that not just the physicality of it, it's the actual creative imagery. Like the people who amaze me are people who have these visions for films and like whole stories, and how they can. It's like 3-hour movies, and they've done it like, oh yeah, I've had this whole journey mapped out, and you're like, wow, that's being creative.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? Especially when somebody's vision is so, and it's so clear that even when they try to, you know, explain it or share it, and people don't get it. And you have to have so much trust in that one person that's leading it, because they can see it, but nobody else can.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, and then the other one is relating to or involving the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of artistic work. So I love the imagination part, because that's how I see it. It's like you're tapping into your imagination and letting that kind of come out of you and be a physical kind of thing, whether that's music, whether that's art, whatever that is. So for me, that's how I kind of think.
It came to me when you said that. The Disney animations, the imagination and what goes into those things. Like, I mean, one of my favorite was Sing, and how they got really clever with the way that they start to incorporate adult themes, but they do it in a childlike manner. So it becomes a whole entertainment thing rather than it just being specifically for children. I love all of that.
Disney have been doing it for years, like Toy Story. Like, I'm sorry, references to that are hilarious. But then when that came on. And then sobbing. Like, I think in Toy Story 3, where they were like traveling, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, when they're traveling to the furnace, or like, it could be number 4, I was like, no, they can't die. But that creativity to be able to evoke emotion and like take people on those journeys. Look, I love telling stories, and we speak about telling stories on this podcast, but it's that knowing that, do you know what, I'm just going to like take it through this emotional coaster here, or I'm actually going to bring in some action here to take somebody up. That's just such a creative talent.
It is. And then, do you know, like recently those coloring books came out for adults, didn't they? Because they wanted to encourage more people to kind of, you know, put when they've got that downtime, to let your brain just kind of settle by doing something that's quite mind numbing. But actually, when you do, you start to really kind of, you know, produce something that you weren't actually intending to do. So I think it's really important. And I remember we talked about this when we spoke about Brené Brown. But she always has advocated that we should do something creative every day. And to actually put yourself out there to do something that you wouldn't normally do. I mean, I tried that after listening to her, her book. And I took one of my sons to a pottery class. I'd always wanted to do pottery and I'd never done it. So I was like, well, let's just go make a bowl or a cup or whatever it may be. And we did it. And I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. It's sensory on your...
Yeah, there's a place near me that I've walked past, and I'm like, I'd like to give it a try. I think I'll be terrible at it, but I'd like to give it a try. But every time you you mentioned pottery, I'm not sure whether it's just because I was raised in the 80s and 90s. I just have the Ghost theme tune going in my
oh my
that moment. I'm like, oh, that's ingrained in your head. But no, I like that kind of.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no, let's do it.
If you haven't done it.
No, I haven't done it. I'd love to be able to. Let's see how it turns out to see if there's going to be anything that I can show physically. Maybe what we'll maybe at the end, what we'll do at the end, we'll find a couple of things and we'll go out on a creative day. And then
I like this sound of that.
And we'll come back and talk about it.
Sounds fab. Yeah. That's a date. Another day.
We'll do that. We'll think about some of the. We'll think about some of the ideas for that. One way. Is it creative? I think it's creative. One way I like to be creative, can't go too nuts. Lego, right?
Ooh.
Like talking about where you're talking about escapism and like just like going off in that coloring. I tried the coloring in things. I think I've got something on my iPad where I tried to do it on an iPad. Didn't really work for me. But Lego, I'm not sure why. I've only started like tapping back into Lego here. I think they came out with a Marvel Thor hammer, so I was like, I've got to have it. And then I started building it. I just got lost in escapism. I was like building something with my hands. I was doing something. Yes, I was following instructions that somebody beautifully had put together. But it kind of released that kind of creativity. It wasn't my own idea, but I still think that taps into this. What do you think?
I can completely relate to that, actually. Having boys, I thought to myself, with all of these Lego sets that would come, they started off, you know, those little box sets you get where you build a car. Well, we can do that with our eyes closed. But as they got older, these sets got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the manuals that come got thicker and thicker and thicker. But I would often sit with my children and do them. And I have to say, not only a Lego absolute genius at doing this and making it so easy to put together, but it is, I get it. I really agree with what you're saying. It's so cathartic almost, isn't it? It's like, it's not too taxing and you absolutely get that reward at the end of it. And
it has that emotional attachment back to our childhood. Because like Lego's been there since. I remember having just a box of like, yes, most of you had a house that it came in, a box that I should have built a house. All used to end up in the things we used to be creative in how we used to do it. It reminds me of that. So it's got a bit of nostalgia towards it as well. But how they've kept on going. Like my mate just... I'm not sure how much it cost him, but he just got the Eiffel Tower Lego, and it's like, it's like this tool off the floor.
Yeah, a friend of mine just did the museum.
You know, but that's the thing; they're still making it relevant, which is great.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Well, look, if ever you want to come over and build Lego with the boys, you know, you're more than welcome to. We've got tons of it. We've got literally like boxes of it that this big.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming next time I come for dinner.
Fantastic. Sounds good.
What do you do to be creative, Jude?
Well, as I said to you at the beginning of this, it's not something that comes naturally to me, but I'm really trying to work on that because I do think it's really important to have that sense of something that you're just doing for yourself. And there's no bad creation, is there? Whatever you do, you're just being creative. You're thinking in a different way. And I've been looking for a project to kind of get into. And I suddenly decided that I was going to get into candle making. So this is something that's really fresh and new for me. I've gone back to school. I'm going to get a certificate and an actual qualification, so I'm actually can say that I'm allowed to do this. And I'm just going to start making some candles. And this is just, I love candles. Who doesn't? But I'm going to, play around with different fragrance oils, different waxes. I'm really understanding, as simple as it sounds, there's actually a lot of complexities to making candles. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error, but it's something I can do in my own home. It's a really low cost opportunity. So it's not like I have to hemorrhage a lot of money into this. And I can do it in my own time. So in and around my schedule, it's just a little something for me to start working on. And if I get any good at it, I've got ideas and aspirations to maybe get involved with farmers markets or just out there in the community. So I think it could just open up a lot of doors for me. I'm really pumped about it, actually. I'm 5 assignments in. I've got 16 to complete, and I actually going to start making candles as part of my assessment next week. So I'm really excited.
Well, look, proud of you to begin with for going down this path. So that's really exciting. So yeah, you. Good that you get a certificate. One of the words in my mind as well is like, well, who comes after, if you don't have the certificate, who comes after you say, you can't make candles? No.
No one. But I'm about embraces kind of person. If I'm going to do it, I like to dot the
No,
I's
but
and
that's
cross
the thing,
T's.
is the sense of, you want to make sure that you're not like, you're doing it right and things like that. But like, I'm going through my candle era. Like, every room has candles in. Most of them are on most of the time. Do forget sometimes to blow them out. So that's always something I always have to remember.
Yeah.
I know. But absolutely. Yeah, no, some of the ones, like I have ones on back order on Amazon repeat order now. So I look forward to seeing what yours turn out to be. Do you have any ideas of scents yet?
Any idea of what, darling?
Of what scents? Like, which ones do you want, kind of like any like apple and rosewood, or like I'm very big at like a tobacco pipe kind of gritty, smelly one. So
I love. And I'm actually you're gonna be my guinea pig for some of these more masculine fragrances, if you like. But I really do love that tobacco blend. I also really like the freshness of the citrus, especially orange. I love grapefruit. I love lemon. I like amber. I also actually just want to go to one of these places, and I don't know if they exist yet. I've got to do some more research. I actually just want to go and just like literally just create and smell the smells that are available, because there's literally so many. And then as I get better at it, I'll be able to start mixing in and go on.
There's a candle emporium down the road here. You could just go like it's literally like got thousands upon thousands of candles and thousands of scents. So you can come there.
Really?
Down there. Yeah, it's massive.
Oh well, yeah. Listen, it sounds like I've got to come over to Buzz and Riley Towers at some point very soon.
Exactly.
And go and do some research.
Then you know that's why I call my house after my cats. So I am their human servant. And we call it Buzz and Riley Towers. So just to fill you in there, like that's just also I'm very excited about that, Jude.
Thank you, darling. I am too. I really am. It's taken me a minute to try and find something where the passion continues to grow. And this is definitely something where my passion continues to grow. And it's not like this whole kind of like, wow, I've got this amazing idea, and then suddenly I'm not really feeling it. I'm really feeling this. And it's going to be a real opportunity for me to explore my creativity. And like I said, it's all very new and fresh, but I'm super excited. And so, yeah, watch this space, guys.
Excited. Yeah, I was also thinking as you were saying that, I'm like, what would be something that I would start up or want to be creative in? I'm drawing a blank currently. Like, I still think like my Lego and my Marvel are side of my escapisms, but that's not being creative.
Well, why don't you try the pottery?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that full time. So I think I've got to have a little think about maybe what I would want to do from a creative perspective. I'm thinking something visual for sure.
Are you good at drawing?
Well, no. So actually, because my creativity used to be, so I used to run a music website, and I used to interview pop stars like our friend Luciana and this, like Little Mix, Mel B for this music blog I used to run. And I used to edit all the videos together. So that creative part of creating these kind of videos and being able to kind of blend them all together and tell a story. So actually going back to the creative people, I was one of those people to tell a story of an interview. So maybe that's something
kind of like an editor, maybe.
Yeah, so there's something there. I need to explore it a little more.
Does it bring you joy? It's got to ignite your fire, hasn't it? It's got to be something that you're gonna, even when
does.
you're tired,
I get lost in it. It's a good thing. But yeah, I just don't know what the involvement of that is. Because I even like create videos, my own little like videos of like my year and things like that for some reason. So that always gives me that kind of thing. But I also think that's just me creating a diary of my life now.
Yeah, well, honey, I tell you what, there's got to be a market for the amount of people that take all these videos and keep them stored on their phones or their computers and do absolutely nothing with them. I mean, there's got to be something in that. But would you really want to trawl through strangers like home videos and things?
I think the creative part's just got to be for me. And yeah, I just don't know what that is just yet. I will come back and tell this podcast once I've had some time to think about it.
Well, I wonder whether our listeners could share with us any of their creative outlets that they do at home for themselves or wherever it may be. Maybe we can get some inspiration from our listeners too.
Yeah, look, maybe that's a good idea and then maybe we'll try one. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, on our day out, our creative day out, we want to hear from our listeners and give us some ideas. Obviously, can't do everything, and we will actually say no to some things. But from a creative perspective, what do you think? What do you think that we should try? Like, I've done like art classes. I've done the wine and art classes before.
Sip and wine or whatever.
Sip and wine. I think I'm there for the sip. Yeah. The painting's not as good. I'm not a singer. But yeah, I'm interested in other people's views of creativity.
I bet there's tons out there, that we wouldn't even have hit our world or our hemispheres. So yeah, let's get some inspiration. Get the juices flowing. Yeah.
Well, look, Jude, I wish you every well with the candles and everything that you're doing there. So very proud of you, of course, once again. Hit us up with some comments because let's inspire us, and we'll go and do something creative, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Fantastic. Sounds great.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining once again. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Instagram. Links are on the screen. We'll be back soon with another random chat. I am Dade.
And I am Jude.
All right, everyone. Thank you and take care.
Bye.